This session is Global Flavors on the Go, sponsored by Smithfield Culinary. And I wanted to introduce our moderator, Emily King, Associate Brand Manager at Smithfield Culinary, and Chef Michael Ponzio, Executive Chef at the Union League Hub in Chicago. So I will let you take it away.
Wonderful. So it's just the two of us now, Michael.
Hello.
And hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. As Patty mentioned, I'm Emily King, an Associate Brand Manager at Smithfield Culinary. And with us today is our fantastic partner chef, Michael Ponzio. We do a lot of great things with Chef Michael here. And he's also the executive chef at the Union League Club of Chicago. So lots of great culinary experience, trying out and traveling around the country and world. So truly appreciate your time, Chef Michael. And for those who are popping in, we should be just wrapping up our breakfast, barbecue, and snacks presentation right now. So this is purposeful. Now is the time for some solid Q&A. We really want to be able to connect with you and have a friendly space for questions. So if you click the chat tab at the top and then click in the area there, you'll be able to ask us questions in the session area, and I'll be able to bring them up to Chef Ponzio here. But first off, I have a couple questions to get us rolling, and we'll go from there. So first off, Chef Ponzio, what do you feel like is driving the global trends that were discussed during the presentation today?
Well, the biggest thing driving the global trends is the fact that the world's changing. Our diners are becoming more educated. There's more resources for people to see things and experience things and taste things, and most importantly, learn things. And being able to get into global flavors is really helping people adapt to that. And that's really big. That's huge, because at any point I could be checked, well, someone's sitting at the table, is this cheese actually truly a Mexican cheese? Or are they making it with cheddar? Is this flavor an actual traditional flavor? Or I read about this and saw on Instagram and I want to try something new. So I think that global flavors in general, just like with everything else we're doing with fashion, with cars, with art, everything is becoming more global, and food is as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like quick eats and lots of different twists on common things is what you're seeing right now. As far as the correlation, are you seeing any kind of correlation between the lack of travel due to the pandemic and just overall desire for those new tastes and flavors? Are you seeing that at all?
I mean, absolutely. Here's the thing. If you are a traveler, if you're one of the lucky people to go to other states and other towns, and you go into the little, villages and cities, and even here, if you go to Chinatown or you go to Little Italy in Chicago, where I am, if you're just stuck out in a western suburb of Illinois, you don't get to do that. And people miss those flavors. They miss those experiences. They miss the opportunity to actually expand and challenge their taste buds and see and feel things different. So I think the pandemic definitely put a lot of change and stress on the fact that we all need to think different and create different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I feel like personally, even for me, I'm getting tired of cooking, and when I get tired of cooking, I really want to branch out and try something that I wouldn't be able to cook myself.
Right.
So that lends it to those ethnic flavors and those kinds of global cuisines for sure.
And maybe you don't want to go out and buy 6 ghost peppers. Maybe you just want to try something that has it. And honestly, I mean, if you're going to try something with turmeric, you're not going to buy a $9 jar when you need a half a teaspoon. So oftentimes people prefer to order when they want to do that.
Yeah, there's definitely a cost savings because or it's you have less waste when you can buy it elsewhere versus having extra ingredients.
It's a whole cost benefit analysis when you're cooking versus ordering out.
Mm-hmm. Totally. One other thing we've noticed is that some other chefs, they refer to their chefs like other people that they're working with and other workers that are not native to the USA, that they are also kind of influencing these menu ideas. Have you seen that at all?
Oh my, I do it all the time. Because
for sure.
Here's the thing. Food and beverage, culinary is such a diverse community. And, I have a gentleman on my team he's from India. He's actually from India. And I have another one that's from Guatemala. And I mean, I just have such a diverse team of wonderful people. And even regionally in the Midwest, I have people from different areas. So if I want to do something, even American global, if I have a guy from Kansas City, well, we're going to make Kansas City ribs, and I'm going to lean to him to actually have that kind of influence. If I have a gentleman who's Indian, I'm going to lean on him to actually add some true ethnic influence so that there's some heart and soul. And I think they're amazing resources because you can see a picture of it on the internet, you can read about it, but if you have someone that grew up with where that's their culture and that has been at every important moment of their life is that food, I feel like that makes them much more of an expert than I could be with a book.
So tapping into that network for sure kind of stimulates all those other ideas and brings that authenticity to it.
100%.
Cool. Okay. Well, I'm just going to pause there real quick. For all of you watching, head to our chat tab, click on the session tab underneath that and type away your questions. We have Chef Michael Ponzio here. He was featured in our earlier presentation just right before this. So we have him here available to answer any questions you have. So highly encourage you to head into the chat. Okay, so next question we have is kind of switching gears to carry out and more what we're seeing there since with our good to go theme and everything. What global menu items make sense from a grab and go perspective? And maybe we can dig into that a little bit more.
So I think grab and go is a much bigger conversation in terms of most items make sense when you're doing it, as long as you have the right packaging. So it really does come down to the research. A shawarma is really awesome if you can have the right packaging. It's going to separate the meat and keep the pitas nice and warm, and all those kind of elements together, or the naan. Pizzas, if you do a tavern style pizza versus a thick Detroit pizza, you need different boxes and containers. If you're going to do a thin Napolitano style pizza, back in the day, it couldn't travel. Now they have little disposable screens you put underneath that help keep it crispy. And I mean, the packaging has come leaps and bounds in the last few years, and especially recently, to really make it so that most foods can travel. You want to make sure they can keep their integrity. So oftentimes when I'm doing something with chicken, I'll lean more towards dark meat or certain elements like that. But even in terms of a cooked steak, there are well-ventilated packages that allow the steak to keep its temperature from when it leaves your restaurant to when it gets to someone's home. It's incredible how it's changed.
Wow. And that's like just within the last year or so, given the current times.
See, I mean, some of these innovations have come over the last 5 years, but the majority has really come in recently. But, with every change, and when you start looking towards packaging, we only make so much off one dish, and that's the important thing to know is you have a small margin. If you're an independent restaurant, you have a 10% margin after you pay everything and everyone and all your utilities. So if you're going to up your packaging, you may have to consider decreasing somewhere else because there is a correlated cost with that. And it can be very expensive. So oftentimes what happens is, you'll put this dish together and it's awesome. And then you build this package and it looks amazing. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, I get $12 in sales for that dish. It cost me $6. Then I have my labor. And then all of a sudden I have $3.22 in packaging. And it's like,
wow,
I'm profit negative. So a lot of homework and research has to go into with the grab and go too. And if there's steps you can take, especially now when we're so limited in resources and limited in staff, to perhaps expedite or ease up some of those processes, it definitely helps. Like I switched, this isn't a product plug, even though it's a Smithfield session, but I switched to Smithfield's pulled pork for one of my dishes, and it literally saved me a lot of work and time, and it saved me having to bring in a raw product, and it's something that can last a little bit longer, and it's consistent, and I use it for several different dishes now because I'm saving on labor, and then I can take that money I'm saving on labor and put it towards packaging.
Does any of the more fancy custom packaging, with that increase in cost to you, do you then transfer that price on to the customer in any way, or is it more a balance?
I mean, here's
to figure out what you can do.
There's only so much you can do. We are in a time right now where everybody is hurting for money, and the argument can be made that people are traveling less and doing less, so they should have more disposable income. But unemployment numbers are crazy, so you can only pass the cost on so much. And then afterwards, when things do start to get back to normal, you're not going to decrease the cost, but then you're going to actually bring in more labor because you want to hire more people. So there's a threshold. I mean, you can't charge $22 for a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
It's just not possible.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Great response there to Ed's question. Donna has one in the chat. She pointed out that given all the usage of plastic containers and other utensils like that for to-go and carry-out items, like, are there any other innovations that you are seeing that would result in less waste?
Sure. A lot of companies have gone to compostable, which is great. And a lot of the compostable products still look and feel like the normal products, but they are more expensive. Also, paper products are becoming huge again, and you'll get a sandwich that's in a paper bag, and you feel good because it's not bulky, and it's biodegradable and environmental friendly. And paper typically doesn't cost a lot, but it also doesn't retain heat. It doesn't hold juices. So it's still a fine line. I don't think that the science we need has caught up economically with the products we need.
Okay.
And so to get like real proper packaging for it that is good for the environment, we're still not there yet. I mean, most people would agree that styrofoam is still one of the best containers because it keeps things hot, but we're not going to flood the environment with that.
Yeah, no, I got coffee at the gas station last week and it was styrofoam. And I was like, honestly, I hadn't seen a styrofoam cup in ages, but it's making a comeback just due to supply. We have a question from Christy. What are your favorite global flavors to work with?
That's tough.
Tough question of the day.
Yeah, I love Spanish flavors very much. And I think it's because my Italian roots and my Italian training, it's very close to home, but it's different enough when you get into the different olives and the different oils and different seafood preparations, different rices. Yeah. I also am a big fan of barbecue flavors. More like of the regionality inside the United States of barbecue flavors, because Texas is so much different than the Carolinas, is so much different than Alabama, and they're all amazing. So, even if you look at that is still global flavor inside the States. Yeah.
Roger is chiming in about using Smithfield products in a lot of ways with braised vegetables, so it carries well and travels well. And then he's also below requested 2 dishes, so 2 dish ideas that you think travel extremely well.
So I'll tell you 2 I love that travel really well and reheat really well, which is a big one because oftentimes, depending on the courier service, the food's going to get there and it's not going to be piping hot. Is I love doing pork ossobuco, so braising pork shanks. I absolutely love that. And you can do it with beans and vegetables, just like what you're saying, Roger, and keep it just a really amazing textured dish. And another one I really like to do is cold items, like making cold bowls and taking a cold, cooked steak and slicing it on top, or using, cold chunks of pork on there. I don't know. I'm a cold food person too. I love cold pulled pork. I love cold food probably more than I should, but that's another one that travels really, really well and is pretty popular, especially when you add healthy grains like quinoa and things like that. Yep,
for sure. Nick is asking about your experience at the Union League of Chicago. So he's curious, what did the holidays look like? Are you doing a portable push for Thanksgiving and Christmas, or doing anything adaptable and in-person dining? What are your thoughts there?
So because we keep getting pulled back more and more in Illinois from the restrictions from the governor, we are actually now really focusing our efforts on to-go. And even the state of Illinois is saying, just like I think California is too, you shouldn't have more than X amount of people in your house. You should, for Thanksgiving, you need to keep your gathering small. So even before, we would sell to-go packages for 10 to 12 people. Now we're doing packages even for 4 to 6. So we're giving a half a turkey. But we're really focusing strongly on the to-go stuff because we can have small groups in the building because there's kind of a line we can kind of walk along where social gatherings of 10 people. And we have a lot of rooms here that we can turn into small private event rooms. But it's nowhere near, the 1,100 people we would do for Thanksgiving in the past.
Okay. And are those orders, are they coming through like online or
We have
how?
them coming in online.
Okay.
We created a back end system using Google Sheets and all that, and
Nice.
people go online and fill out the form. It tabulates it all for us. So ordering's easy, execution will be easy.
Okay. Do you find like the demand is similar to past years, or is there more demand for these?
It's much more than past years.
Okay.
You know,
Wow.
last year, for example, I think we did 11 to-go orders total, and this year we already have 40 booked.
Oh my goodness.
So it's a huge jump because people don't want to leave. And those that don't want to leave also may not know how to cook or not want to deal with it. So I tell them, get it from us. Even just get some sides. If you don't get your whole feast.
What are some of your sides ideas?
So we're doing all the traditional stuff: sour cream with potatoes, sweet potatoes, roasted fall vegetables, the pies, all that. We're doing just a very classic standard Thanksgiving dinner.
Okay. Love it. Any plans for the Christmas? Are you going to
mix
that up at all? Or?
Yeah, Christmas is going crazy too. We're digging in left and right how we can. We just, even for Halloween, we were at 25-person capacity limits. So we spread our Halloween event along and did 150 people total throughout the day. But in the past, it was 800 people.
Wow.
So we were still able to give some of these families and let them trick or treat through the hotel rooms and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely not the same.
Okay. Are you going to do any global twists on your Christmas menu? Have to ask. Patty's asking.
You know, not necessarily here. I mean, it's the membership here is, they love tradition. So I'll always bring in some of my Italian influence into it. That just always happens. But I'm not planning any big global, twists on the menu.
Okay. Hi, Robert. Oh, no, we just lost Robert. That's okay. Robert, if you have a question, feel free to chime it into the chat. I think we have time for maybe one or two more. If there is anything. Again, it's the chat tab at the top, and then you click the session button.
I will tell you something funny, Emily. So,
Yeah.
well, it's not funny, but 2020 kind of beat all of us up. And I'm actually talking kind of funny because thanks to all the lovely stress, I got Bell's palsy a few weeks ago. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it really took its toll on. Yeah, it happens. It'll go away in a few weeks. But, I was wondering why I'm talking like Rocky Balboa. That kind of happened. But
oh no,
I know it's crazy. This year is affecting everyone, and with that, we're looking at our operations in general and seeing how we can adjust, and that's a big thing. So, for years and years, there was like this trend about 20 years ago where everyone started buying things prepared, and then about 10 years ago, it really dropped off because the prepared items weren't really meeting the quality. It was more about just factory production. And now it seems like the more logical step in some ways is to look at the items that you can get prepared and really see how you can streamline your operation. Not saying I want to open cans of food, but using like that pulled pork product. I use Smithfield bacon now. I love it. But before I was making all my bacon from scratch. And it's just it actually ends up costing me the same per pound using the Smithfield one as making it myself, except I take out the whole labor element.
Yeah, so, one less thing to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. Not that I want to take jobs from people, but as operators right now, we have to think about surviving and where we can find these good conveniences, and that's important.
Yeah, for sure. So no other questions, but definitely want to thank you so much, Chef Michael Ponzio, for your time today, for
thank you.
All that you do for us. In case you all are interested in that you're tuning in, we do have a Facebook Live session with Chef Ponzio tomorrow at 2 p.m. Yeah, it's at 2 p.m. Eastern on our Smithfield Culinary Facebook page. I'll paste the link into this chat right after this. So if you're interested in that, again, it's tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. And he'll be talking more about the product versatility. You can ask him questions there. We'll also be available in our expo booth giving presentations tomorrow. We'll have Corey from our sales team sharing one on global barbecue, plus a live recipe demo with our chef Frank. He'll share one fantastic Korean ribs recipe and a barbacoa arancini. So that will be in the evening tomorrow. And then
Emily,
Friday.
Sorry, can I say something?
Yeah, for sure.
if anyone has not been on the Smithfield Culinary website, it is one of the greatest resources. I send people there all the time, and I had nothing to do with the website. But they have trend alerts. They have amazing recipes, data graphics. I mean, even when you're talking to your higher ups at work, these things are so useful for trying to understand trends and how people, are getting into global flavors and on the go and all these sorts of things. And then they post videos of idea sessions with chefs. It's incredible. So I would definitely recommend checking it out.
Yes, and I just pasted those links, so thanks for the free plug there, Ponzio.
I never said it was free.
True. You know how it goes. So with Friday, too, we'll have some more presentations, so definitely feel free to swing by, and I'll pass it over to you, Patty.
I want to thank you so much, Emily and Chef Michael. It's such a great discussion here today. Lots of great information. And I also want to thank our sponsors, Smithfield Culinary. Just a reminder, we're wrapping up for today. Everyone, we start at 10 a.m. Pacific time tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So looking forward to seeing you all back here. And again, thank you so much, Emily, Michael, and Smithfield Culinary. See you tomorrow.
Thank you.